Hello and welcome to the final video in my 3-show day reviews. This is the one you've been waiting for. The one you've been waiting for. The Temptress. Honestly, I love Six so much that this is just going to be full of Six quotes. I apologise in advance. But if you have missed this few days and you're wondering what I'm talking about, just before lockdown I saw 3 shows in one day and I am going through 3 days and reviewing them all. I have reviewed The Comeback, I have reviewed Mischief Movie Night, and I'm at the final show, which was Six live at the Lyric. Oh my god, I loved it. Six is one of those shows that as soon as I sat down and watched it, I was like, I am obsessed with this thing. Give me more of this thing right now. Give it to me. This version of Six is very special because just before lockdown and all of this happened, Six had just mounted its show on Broadway and it was literally about to open and then theatres closed. Six has had a very unfortunate time during lockdown, constantly trying to mount performances and just being knocked down at every single turn. Of course, we had the Broadway production, which was just shot down completely. Then the West End closed a few days later, closing Six there. Then, after we had the first lockdown and we started to get to the summer and we started seeing drive-in theatres, Six were like, yeah, we can do that. And then Six were like, no, we can't do that, and cancelled all of those. And then we had this, which planned to open in November, and then we had the November lockdown, and then opened, finally, got 2 weeks, and then London went into Tier 3 and now Tier 4. So, this has been a journey for Six. I had my tickets booked for January, but then I kind of predicted this whole thing would happen, and I very quickly booked my tickets for this performance, and I am so glad that I managed to see it before it shut, because I honestly, after seeing this performance and seeing all the changes that they made for this bigger theatre and the changes that they made for Broadway, I do not see how they could ever go back to the arts theatre. But you've probably heard loads about Six. You've heard loads about the original production, but this new production has just breathed in so much more to Six. Now, I was a non-believer. I was somebody who was like, no, Six should stay where it is. It should stay firmly sat in its small little theatre. It works there. Why would we ever try and put Six on Broadway? Why would we ever try and move it into a theatre like the Lyric with 4 tiers? Like, why would you do that? But whereas shows like Be More Chill and Rocky Horror don't really work when you try and move them into bigger houses, Six changes these little things and has really thought through each change so that it's effective in a bigger house. And it still feels strangely intimate. It still feels so lively and big at the same time. It is just an amazing production to watch. The first big change I noticed was the music. Before the show, they have this music that plays, which is kind of Tudorized versions of modern pop songs. They used to do like Chandelier, they used to do Bad Romance, and these have kind of been updated to songs that are very modern, and I don't know them, so I can't tell you which ones are used because I don't listen to pop music. But it's nice that these have been updated because, you know, Six as a show is meant to be this kind of modern pop show, and if they set this precedent of updating their music, it will keep that kind of modern element to it, in a similar way to how a show like Book of Mormon will add in little references to now and modern politics and stuff like that in just little bits of dialogue. The costumes have all been slightly revised, and these changes are just beautiful. You can really feel that these costumes have been thought through. There's only one little change I don't really like, which is the little rim, the tiny half skirt on Par's costume. Just personal preference, I don't really like that on trousers. But you can really tell that he's been thought through. There's loads of little jewels, loads more jewels. These feel like sparkly and fresh, and they really work with the new lighting. And oh, honestly, it really helps define this as like a deluxe version of 6. But the one we should really be talking about is Cleve's costume. But I saw a alternate massive, which was absolutely fantastic, because what they do with the alternatives is amazing in the show. They all have their own costumes, they all, you know, have their own presence, different ways of playing the characters. But the problem comes from the fact that they have changed Cleve's costume with a new costume reveal, so that the costume now just completely comes off and Cleves is left in this bodysuit. But they haven't changed the alternatives costumes. So now they don't even take off a jacket. They don't do anything with this bit and it falls flat. And it is such a shame. Now I know you can't give all the alternatives the bodysuits and all of this and all of that. You could at least keep the jacket reveal. You could at least take off the jacket. Come on. If you're going to change a part of the show to this big reveal and you're going to base it on the costumes, it is a bit of a shame that if you don't have the main person on, you lose out on that little bit of the reveal. I don't know, I love the fact that, you know, the alternatives have their own voice and their own costumes, because it really fits the narrative of the show. But on the other hand, it is a shame that, you know, you lose out on little bits of the show because of it. But I think the biggest change that really makes it fit this much bigger house, the little adaptation to the set and the lighting. It's all the bright lights shining from the back. It's the new kind of glitter wall that comes out in the final 2 songs. Just really fills out the stage and makes this set come alive. Someone's at the door. I mean, the set at the Arts is really, really cool. And it's just the tiny little changes to it. And the little changes to the arch kind of thing that comes in front of the theatre that, you know, now has loads of new lights attached to it that now shines up different colours. It's the really noticeable little details with the lights on the back that, you know, change throughout the song. You know, sometimes I was like glued to this set, watching it, the little changes to it. It's just the little changes that really make it work and really make the set and the show come alive in this big theatre and make it feel welcome here. The jump from the small theatre to the big theatre came over time. You know, with looking at how it works on tours and the American tour and, you know, little things that were changed even throughout the first London run. And they've taken this time to work on it, to adapt it, to think about these little changes. Like maybe we can add enough throne here, maybe we can change the lighting, maybe we can play around with it. And everything just feels so thought through and amazing, and it just makes the show come alive. I have nothing but praise for this version of 6. Not only have they made it work in this context, not only have they played around with it, added little, there's like one 2020 joke that really, really works. It's like a little throwaway line and it is beautiful. It is just amazing. 6 will come back. 6 will definitely come back. And honestly, I don't think it should come back to the Arts. Maybe it shouldn't come back to the Lyric either, but I think having 6 in a big theatre like that could actually work. Just think about it for a second. We are at 50% capacity and 6 is selling out on these nights, yeah? Now, if we opened it up to full capacity and we didn't have, you know, the whole thing that's been going on with this year and, you know, all of this going around, if we didn't have that, 6 would probably still sell out in this big theatre. There's a lot of variables. I reckon that there's more than 50% of audiences who aren't coming back at the moment. I mean, you think about tourism and you think about people to come see the shows naturally, you think about people who are shielding at the moment. I think 6 could work in a theatre like the Lyric. Or even if you go for a slightly smaller theatre, it could still work there. I think 6 as a show adapts to wherever it goes. I have nothing but praise for this version. I think it works, I think it's beautiful, and I honestly don't want to see it go back to the Arts. I want to see it move on. Six Live at the Lyric deserves a longer life than just what 2020 and 2021 can give it. Six Live at the Lyric deserves an open-ended run. But yeah, I've really enjoyed diving back into these shows and talking about theatre. I've had it's been quite a long week. I think it's been quite a long week for everyone in the UK, and it's been a long year for all of us, but theatre survives no matter what is thrown at it, and we've seen that proved this year. No matter how many times Six will close, we will keep wanting it back, and we will get theatre back soon. The show will go on.